I keep thinking about a big badass intro for this thing, but it's hard for me right now because, well, let's talk. This is the Frontier. There's a lot to talk about. It's gonna go off to wiring. Let's close this door so the sun's not in our faces, and we'll talk. Tried to buy the cable, remember I had a recommendation, and then I got the cable and it was the wrong cable. So I don't know what we're gonna do with these things. We have 4 of these lights and we have 1 charger cord, and I can't find the right part number for these ATD lightsaber lights. I'll send you guys something if you can just figure out which one goes to these. Oh, it's even taped up. See, that's how you know that's a precious commodity right now. It's either we buy more that are just brand new with the cables, but I can't stress enough how important light is. Anyways, Frontier, it's red. Try not to shoot how much orange peel is actually in that, okay, Joe? There's a lot. Is it better? There's more space over here. Last time you saw it, it was getting assembled. We got back from powder coat, staged over in one of the slots, all black chassis. It was getting assembled. That was our process. We are very deep into this thing with assembly right now. You know, if you guys have put cars together before, the assembly process is definitely the most daunting, the most time consuming, and the most frustrating usually. Depending on who's looking at that, it's usually a client, right? Because it can be 6 to 12 weeks of putting a car together that everything is already built on, putting stuff together nicely, putting the right hardware in it, you know, trimming, fitting, this, that, and it seems like such a crawl because it could, you know, I remember with Vivian, the guys were working on it, and it was like 2 or 3 weeks, and they were doing all the insides and, you know, under the car and everything, and I'd walk by and be like, what got done? What is stuff getting done? You know, not even understanding how intensive the process is to get it right and to do it the right way. So right now we are 4 days from wiring. Justin is going to wire this thing. We have a pretty strong date to do with this. Alex has been going through. We had a guy come in and help us a little bit with this just to try to ease the workload. My guys are specialists. To have this thing assembled doesn't require the skill set that my guys possess. It's better for them to work on our high-end stuff. And long story short, it's tough to bring in outside work because I can't trust it as much as I can my guys. I fully trust my guys. I know that we get success, and we do not settle for anything less when putting cars together and making sure that they run and they're dialed. And having extra help to put it together, it was a good chunk to get done, but now Alex is on this and he's going through every single bolt, every single area of the car and double checking stuff and or fixing some things or getting to some things that were missed. The brakes are bled right now. The handbrake is bled right now. The engine is completely done. There needs to be a belt on there, but the plug wires are done. The coilovers are the last thing that's going in. The seats are in, the electronics are in, the Switch Pro's in, the Switch Pro computer is in, the Holley's in, fresh batteries, all the stuff is in. This has been the final crunch on this thing. And what I say when I'm like, I'm that excitement thing, like we should be like, yeah, look at this, the Frontier is here and it's almost ready. But we've done this for so many times where we get like some solid progress and then it drops and it's not, you have to think like this is pretty much building one of these things on a teacher's budget that has a small soccer team of kids. So it's been a tremendous financial sacrifice for myself. It's been something where I can't work on this as a dedicated car because it does not pay our bills. And if I'm not able to pay my guys and pay what we need, then it's just financially not possible. So we have to figure out windows when we can work on this. James has to figure out how he can financially push this thing in, and that right there puts a lot of big windows in between progress. So I feel like we have a plan here. This thing is going to go to wiring. I'm committed on that, and I've taken the bull by the horns on the last bit of this, despite James and his engagement or commitment to this thing, and I've just done it for my own sake of finishing the damn project. I'm super stoked, and I will never regret anything with helping James out with this thing. It's my commitment, but it's just what I'm getting at is I'm very reserved, because it's just, until this thing is running and driving, then it is not done, and it's not close to done. I need to see it like that. So that's where we're at. What do we want to talk about first? We could maybe talk about the paint. Everybody's gonna say there's orange peel on here, and there is. We decided to paint this thing red. If I left this to James, this truck would be multi-door colored, and it would be non-powder coat, and it would be like steel it or maybe raw, and it would have white fenders. And he'd be like, hell yeah, punk rock, dude, this thing's OG sick like that. And that's just, we built a car here, and we put so much effort into this thing to get it right and to get it how it is. And then we powder coated the whole chassis, and we powder coated all the parts. Like, I'm not listening to direction like that. And this is our vehicle now. It needs to carry our brand. So painting the cab. Alex, I told Alex, hey, do you think you can shoot this thing single stage, minimal prep? He said, yep. So we took the initiative. We had some paint made for us, and we shot a gallon just into the doors and the door jambs and the cab, like the roof and everything you see, inside of the doors as well. So the only discrepancy here is the orange peel, and I was okay with it at first. I'm like, screw it, dude. Kind of on the same James program. Like, well, it's red. We at least got it. Like, who cares? We didn't do the body work on it. Like, it's fine. But it's so nice still that I think it's a disgrace to not try to get some of this orange peel out. So tomorrow, it's a holiday, but I'm going to be here, and I have some guys coming in, and they're going to do the best they can to cut this down and polish it out. Not so concerned about the roof. Also not concerned about like some of the dents and stuff that are in the rocker. That was, we're not trying to go that hard, but at least maybe just get some of the orange peel out. This is the true red that this truck came in as, the original 16-year-old Gardner truck. So I think it's going to be very prominent when we show it for the first time. We're still waiting on the bedsides from Fiberworks. So we'll probably display it with just all the front aluminum work on, and the rear chassis like this, no body panels, just cab and doors. When it goes to wiring, wiring will have working windows. I don't think we're running door locks. It's going to be manual door locks, but it'll have working windows. It'll be passcode protected ignition, same as the T100. When you open this, the poppers will turn the dome light on, just to make things easy. Even though this is like you'd call it a high maintenance truck, I look at Vivian, and Eric takes care of Vivian, but it's not so much where it's these insane preps that you think. As long as like the third member gets something maybe twice a year, and you're doing the hubs and you're just maintaining it, these things stay together, especially because you're building a pre-runner truck that's got all huge trophy truck parts on that are built for complete throat fucking all the time. So it's, you're using big gnarly parts to do a lot less duty cycle than they would in a race car. With that's why this thing's powder coated. That's why it's just gonna be as easy as it can. I don't know where we're going to end up with who's going to prep this thing when it leaves our hands. And I think that that's not the job for us. I think that there would be, a willing patron that can take that on for James, and they can start taking care of it. I don't think it needs to go to a high-end shop. It might be something you can do in the garage. But, that was why it was so key to have powder coat and stuff, is just pressure wash the thing, put it away, wet, change the fluids, check things, and go rip it again. So that's where we're at. I think that the red, again, the orange peel bothers me the most. It didn't used to. It does now. Everything else, we've just been going through the classic checklist stuff. It's been very narrowed down. What parts do we need to order? And then, Alex has really turned himself into, like, Alex knows a lot of our fabrication and technique, but he has really dialed himself in on final assembly, plumbing, going over things and getting success like that. So that's what our process has been. It's just getting this thing completely ready for wiring, getting all the fluids in it, just solid. So that's where we're at. I don't know if there's details. Maybe I'll get on here and I'll just kind of go through the inside with you guys now that it's complete. So window switches. Is that a lock switch? Window lock for the kids. Factory door handles, door panels. These are really like door cards, right? The T100 kind of has a 3D door panel. This is just a door card. I like to do a breakup here. There's not actually a speaker in here, but I just like to add a breakup. Momentary switch for the brakes. All the hard line, soft line going to the reservoirs. Fire suppression everywhere. All right, driver control area. This is all business. Not a lot of foot room, but just enough. I mean, it fits me, fits James. It probably wouldn't fit a 6-foot person. Switch Pro up in here. Holly display. This is all that stuff we did the fab, like that dash cowl and stuff is everything we did fab diaries on. See the suppression. Some good sound deadening. Same with the floors. There's not really a high frequency sheet metal harmonic going on in here at all. That's still pretty dark. This stuff's all pretty tight. Safe. So that's pretty much it. Back seats have always been tight. It used to be a bench configuration back here, and then we put 4 buckets in here. These are side-by-side seats. And it's always been this thing of just kids only in here. You can fit in there, but it's not optimal, especially if you get, you crash and you get injured and then you have to get out of it. Your knees are kind of right at the back of the front seats. Headspace is okay. So we'll have this thing with harnesses. The seats are just in here loose because when it goes to wiring, I'd rather Justin be able to take the seats out to work around, but at least he needs to understand where they go so he doesn't bury something, and interfere with the mounting. Also in process, coilovers. Keith got us just a baseline spring setup on here. That's enough to determine like ride height, and that's enough to determine when we'll scale it, do the same thing, get all of the measurements that he needs, and then he can take these back and put the good valving into them. Keith is the one that's going to take care of all the suspension tuning on this thing. So that'll be something we'll do after wiring. Like I said, there's still going to be a little bit of work. It'll come back to us. It'll come back running. It'll come back with all the systems doing what they need to do, all the wiring complete. And then we'll still need to paint the front glass, mount the rear bed sides, run the exhaust through the rear bed side, exhaust bezels, paint the rear bed side, powder coat the exhaust bezels, get the shocks back on. I think then we'll be in a really good spot. So that's pretty much where we're at. If you guys don't subscribe already, subscribe, okay? And like and comment and stuff.